Xander Schauffele shot a 63. He had 4 rounds in the 60s this week. The 63 on Sunday was his best. That is 7 under par. It was bogey-free. KP, you are, and I believe rightfully so, quite bullish on Xander the following 2 weeks here as we get to the end of the season.
Yeah, I think Xander could win out. Like, I think he could win. I think he could pull the victor, which is win the BMW and then, sorry, I'm looking up where he was tee to green this week, and then win the Tour Championship. He's awesome at East Lake. He's going to thrive there. I think the Scottie Xander race, I mean, it's not going to be like the 1500 in the Olympics, is it? Where somebody comes from out of nowhere and wins it at the end over the 2 heavy favorites.
I mean, what's crazy is the format is set up for that. Right. The two guys who are a billion points up, Xander presumably is only going to lead Hideki by a shot.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. It would be like if the 1500 made the top 2 guys just wait for the final lap.
Yes.
Right? Like, you guys got to wait here. Let those guys catch up.
We'll tell you when to go.
And then you can run the final lap. So yes, but also it's just, I think Xander is sort of he seems like the bar that you have to jump over because of how good he is at East Lake. I mean, he's just automatic there with how he's playing right now and how well he's played at that golf course in the past. So I don't know what it is, man. Scottie and the playoffs have not, for whatever reason, I mean, obviously he's playing great golf. It's not like he's playing poorly, but just over the last couple of years, he was kind of frustrated last year and just seemed like he was trying to get it over the finish line. He came into this year like, this isn't a season-long race, which he's right. I don't disagree with that, but there's just kind of a weird vibe around Scottie in the playoffs, I think. That doesn't mean he's not going to win the FedEx Cup. It doesn't mean he's not going to win the BMW. We have no idea what's going to happen. I just feel I actually feel more confident with Xander right now, which might sound crazy or seem crazy, but that's just kind of where I'm at.
I think, Greg, that Kyle has gone too far, but I don't think he's gone a lot too far, right? Like I'm with him for the most part. I still think that Scottie is going to, Scottie's playing basically a 3-tournament playoff right now. He's going to start the Tour Championship almost certainly in first. If he doesn't start in first, he's going to start in second, all that fun stuff. Xander does seem quite fresh. Xander is very good, and Xander has unlocked the secret at East Lake. Now, even in his own words, he said, we'll see what the new East Lake looks like when I get there. They've done some work to that golf course, but it would not be super surprising if Xander were to get this job done.
No, it's not. The changes to the golf course are not going to make him go from loving it to hating it, right? The shot values are presumably going to be still the same. So he will understand how to play the golf course. There may be some little nuances to learn, but, that might be a good thing, keep you on your toes a little bit. Xander showed today the kind of firepower that he has and why you always have to watch out for him, which is like he can just go crazy with his irons and he can hold the putts. I mean, he had 8 approach shots inside of 15 feet today, and that doesn't include the par 5s where he also made birdie. So you just get a sense like he could just keep making he could birdie every hole coming in, and it wouldn't surprise you. But I still do believe that Scottie Scheffler is on a different level when it comes to the ball striking. I was looking at this early in the week. If you go through on rickrungood.com and look at players' best weeks they've ever had with their approach play, and it's like, how often do they gain double digits for a week? And Rory's done it twice. Xander's done it twice. Once was at the Open Championship. Morikawa's done it twice. Like nobody has, and many guys have only done it once. Hideki's only done it once. That list is extremely long as well. And Scottie has done it now with a poor week this week, 3 out of the last 6 weeks. Right. He's the only other player in this field who had done it 4 times was Adam Scott, who hadn't done it since 2019. So there's this level that Scottie can reach that I don't think anybody else can. Even as good as Xander is with his ball striking, and I know there's an edge to the putting, but it's not a match play situation. Just so Scottie gets so much out of his long game. I mean, I thought he played pretty poorly today. And
You sound like you're trying to talk yourself into Scottie. This is sort of my point.
This is Scottie. I'm not trying to talk myself into him. I'm holding.
If Xander drives the ball like he did today, the next 2 weeks, I'm with KP. I think he'll win both events. Because, Greg, as you mentioned at the top of this week, Xander had been horrible off the tee at TPC Southwind. Today, 10 fairways from 6 to 16, doesn't miss one. I thought it was interesting at the Olympics, that final round, he kind of mentioned how he reverted back to some old swing habits where he'd miss right a lot, kind of like we saw at the Players' Championship down the stretch. And we saw the right miss a ton early in the week, but today it was really on a string. And once you give Xander Schauffele the ball in the fairway with his putting and with his approach play, you get a 63 like today. So you couple that with what he's done at Eastlake, I think it's tough. But it's Scottie. I agree. It's Scottie, Gap, Xander, Gap, whoever wants to be third, with Rory McIlroy kind of playing in the sandbox right now. So I do agree with you in that regard, Greg. But with Eastlake and his history there, it's tough to overlook.
I understand.
I it's early. It's not even early in the week. It's the previous week. But I was looking at Castle Rock, and I think Xander's a really good fit for Castle Rock.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
really good, which is
But
scary stuff.
Scottie too.
Yeah, well, I guess it's both a given that both of these guys are really good fits at every place. But the Xander is a very underrated driver. That's like, I don't think people realize how long he has got.
He's so long.
Yeah,
This is Scottie. This is stupid. This is Scottie's season. But here's my take, Rick, and I sort of alluded to this. I think Scottie thinks the playoffs are dumb.
I know he thinks they're dumb because he basically told us that.
And so I think it's just really hard to. I don't think he cares about the 25 mil. I mean, like, I think he cares about it, but I not to the same degree that maybe some of the other guys do. And I just think it's really hard to be emotionally and mentally committed to something that you sort of think is like stupid. And I think that's a little bit of what I'm feeling with him, of just the vibe of Scottie and the playoffs just feels a little weird. Doesn't mean he's not going to play well. He played awesome this week, but it just, I don't know. There's something going on there.
What do you think came first? Him thinking the playoffs were dumb, or him choking in 22 and then not converting in 23 again?
Well, it's a good question. I believe, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, he said something last year that was like
he said, I'm just trying to finish out the season.
Yeah, which made it seem like
he was exhausted.
Yes. And that what I think one of your points is, KP, that by the time he gets to the Open Championship, he sees that as the finish line.
Yeah.
And it is now like 2 years in a row, we're getting this like, well, maybe a little indifference to the FedEx Cup playoffs. And that's before, he lost one of them, to get back to your question, Patrick.
Yeah. I wonder if it's any different. It's probably not, just given how he's handled things in the past, if he won in 22.
Yeah, could be. That was a bad loss. I remember him saying after he lost to Rory, I went home and I was sad for like, I don't know how, like a week or whatever. And I thought that was such an interesting word to say. Like, I was sad. But it was like, he should have won that event.